Welcome to our final module. Can you believe how far you've come? When we started this journey together, you might have been someone who barely understood what LinkedIn was for, or maybe you had a profile that was just sitting there collecting digital dust. Now, look at you. You understand LinkedIn's ecosystem. You know how to build strategic relationships. You can create compelling content. You know how to leverage the platform for career opportunities, and you can make informed decisions about premium features. But here's the thing about learning. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. Today, we're going to make sure that everything you've learned translates into real sustainable habits that continue to serve you and your career for years to come. Let me tell you about Michael. Michael took a course very similar to this one about 2 years ago. He was energized and excited after completing it. He updated his profile, connected with some people, and even posted a few times. But then life got busy. Work picked up, family obligations increased, and slowly but surely, LinkedIn slipped down his priority list. 6 months later, his activity had dropped to almost nothing. A year later, he was essentially back where he started. Then Michael had a wake-up call. His company announced layoffs, and suddenly he needed to job search. When he logged back into LinkedIn, he realized he had wasted an entire year of potential relationship building and reputation development. The good news, he still remembered the strategies from the course, and he was able to ramp up quickly. But he learned an important lesson. LinkedIn success isn't about what you know, it's about what you consistently do with what you know. Don't be like Michael's first attempt. Be like Michael's second attempt, someone who develops sustainable systems and sticks with them even when life gets busy. So let's start by identifying your primary LinkedIn goals because everything flows from this. Your LinkedIn strategy should be different depending on whether you're primarily focused on job searching, business development, thought leadership, or general professional networking. If you're actively job searching, your LinkedIn activities should be weighted heavily towards profile optimization, connecting with people at target companies, engaging with content from those companies, and making yourself visible to recruiters. You might spend 60% of your LinkedIn time on job search activities, 30% on networking, and maybe 10% on content creation. If you're focused on business development or sales, you might spend 50% of your time on prospecting and relationship building, 30% of your time on content creation that demonstrates your expertise, and maybe about 20% on general networking and industry engagement. If you're primarily interested in thought leadership and building your professional reputation, you might spend 50% of your time on content creation and engagement, 30% on strategic networking with industry leaders, and maybe 20% on staying current with industry trends and opportunities. If you're using LinkedIn for general professional networking and staying connected with your industry, you might have a more balanced approach. 40% networking and relationship management, 30% content engagement, 20% learning and professional development, and 10% exploring new opportunities. None of these approaches are right or wrong. They're just different strategies for different goals. The key is being intentional about your approach rather than just randomly engaging with LinkedIn wherever you happen to think about it. Now, let's talk about creating a realistic weekly LinkedIn routine. This is where most people either go overboard and burn out, or they undercommit and don't see results. Here's a sustainable approach that works for most busy professionals. Dedicate 20 to 30 minutes 3 times per week to LinkedIn activities. That's it. Not 20 minutes every day, not 2 hours on the weekends, just 3 focused sessions per week. Here's what those sessions might look like. Session 1, Monday for 10 minutes. Check notifications and messages. Respond to any connection requests or emails, and spend a few minutes engaging with your content from your network. Like and comment thoughtfully on 3 to 5 posts that resonate with you. Session 2 on Wednesday, 15 minutes. Focus on content creation. Share an industry article with your commentary. Write a brief post about something you learned or experienced at work. Share an insight about a trend in your field. Remember, this doesn't need to be groundbreaking content, just authentic professional insights. And Session 3 on Friday for 10 minutes. Focus on networking. Send 2 to 3 strategic connection requests. Follow up with recent connections, or reach out to someone in your network just to check in and maintain the relationship. This 35-minute weekly commitment is sustainable for almost everyone, and it's enough to maintain momentum and see gradual but consistent growth in your LinkedIn presence. Of course, you can adjust this based on your current priorities. If you're actively job searching, you might spend more time on networking and profile optimization. If you're launching a new business, you might focus more heavily on content creation and thought leadership. The key is consistency over intensity. Spending 35 minutes every week is infinitely more valuable than spending 3 hours once a month and then disappearing for weeks at a time. Let's talk about goal setting and tracking progress because what gets measured gets managed. Set specific measurable goals for your LinkedIn activity and check in on your progress regularly. Here are some examples of good LinkedIn goals. I will grow my network by 50 relevant connections over the next 3 months by sending 5 strategic connection requests per week. I will post valuable content twice per week for the next 2 months to establish myself as a thought leader in my field. I will have informational interviews with 3 people at my target companies over the next 6 weeks. I will earn LinkedIn skill badges in my top 5 professional competencies over the next month. Notice how these goals are specific, measurable, and time-bound. They're also realistic. You're not trying to become LinkedIn famous overnight. You're just trying to make steady progress towards your professional objectives. Track your progress simply. You don't need a complex spreadsheet. Just keep a note on your phone or a simple document where you record your weekly LinkedIn activities. This helps you stay accountable and recognize your progress over time. Now, let's address some common challenges that people face with LinkedIn, because I want you to be prepared for the obstacles you might encounter. Challenge number 1. I don't know what to post. This is probably the most common concern I hear. Remember, you don't need to be the most creative or insightful person on LinkedIn. You just need to share your authentic professional experience and perspective. Keep a running list of post ideas on your phone. When you read an article that's particularly interesting, have a good meeting, or learn something new, jot it down. You'll never run out of things to share if you're paying attention to your professional life. Challenge number 2. I'm worried about posting something wrong or looking stupid. Listen, this fear paralyzes a lot of people, me included. But here's the truth. The professional context of LinkedIn makes it much more forgiving than other social platforms. People are generally respectful and constructive in their interactions. Just start small and build your confidence gradually. Share someone else's content with a brief comment. Comment thoughtfully on other people's posts. Write a simple post about something you learned. You don't need to solve the world's problems with your first post. Challenge number 3. I don't have any time. I get it. Everyone is busy, but remember, we're talking about 20 to 30 minutes, 3 times per week. That's less time than you probably spend scrolling through other social media platforms each day. The key is making LinkedIn a habit rather than a separate task you have to remember to do. Link it to something you already do regularly. Check LinkedIn when you have your morning coffee, or make it part of your Friday afternoon routine. Challenge number 4. I'm not seeing immediate results. LinkedIn is a long-term strategy, not a quick fix. The relationships you build today might not pay off for months or even years. The content you share this week might be seen by your future boss next month. Trust the process and focus on consistency. The compound effect of regular LinkedIn activity is incredibly powerful, but it takes time to build momentum. Let's talk about maintaining authenticity as your LinkedIn presence grows. As you become more active and visible on the platform, you might start to feel pressure to present a perfect professional image all the time. Don't fall into this trap. Authenticity is what makes you memorable and relatable. Share your real professional experiences, including challenges and failures. Talk about what you're learning, not just what you've already mastered. Ask for help when you need it. Show your personality while maintaining professional boundaries. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to be genuinely helpful and professionally authentic. Now, let's create your personalized 30, 60, and 90-day action plan, because having a clear roadmap makes it much more likely that you'll follow through on your LinkedIn goals. Days 1 through 30, foundation strengthening. During your first month, focus on optimizing your profile based on everything you've learned. Update your headline, refresh your summary, add recent accomplishments, and make sure your profile tells a compelling story. Aim to make 3 to 5 strategic connections per week. Start engaging with other people's content regularly. Like and comment on 3 to 5 posts per week. Share content once or twice during this month, even if it's just sharing someone else's article with your brief commentary. Days 31 to 60, momentum building. During your second month, increase your content creation to once per week. These can be short posts about your professional experiences, industry observations, or lessons learned. Continue growing your network strategically, aiming for 5 to 7 new connections per week. Start having more substantial conversations with your connections. Comment more thoughtfully. Send occasional messages to check in with people and look for opportunities to be helpful. Days 61 to 90, strategy refinement. During your third month, analyze what's working and what isn't. Which types of content get the most engagement? Which networking approaches are most effective? Which activities feel sustainable and which feel forced? Use this information to refine your approach. Consider whether premium features would be valuable for your specific goals. Start thinking about longer-term LinkedIn objectives and how they align with your career goals. Throughout all 3 months, maintain your weekly routine of 20 to 30 minutes 3 times per week. Consistency is more important than perfection. Now, let's talk about adapting your LinkedIn strategy as your career evolves, because your approach should change as your professional situation changes. When you're early in your career, LinkedIn is primarily about learning, networking, and establishing your professional identity. You might focus on connecting with classmates and colleagues, sharing what you're learning, and building relationships with people slightly ahead of you in their careers. But as you become more experienced, LinkedIn becomes more about thought leadership and strategic networking. You might focus more on sharing insights and expertise, mentoring others, and building relationships with peers and industry leaders. If you move into leadership or entrepreneurship, LinkedIn might become more about building your personal brand, attracting talent or clients, and establishing yourself as an expert in your field. The beautiful thing about LinkedIn is that it can evolve with you throughout your entire career. The foundation you're building now will serve you whether you stay in your current field or completely change directions. Here are some resources for staying current with LinkedIn updates and best practices, because the platform is constantly evolving. LinkedIn publishes regular updates about new features and algorithm changes on their official blog and social media channels. Follow LinkedIn's official accounts to stay informed about these new capabilities. There are also numerous LinkedIn experts and consultants who share regular tips and strategies. Follow a few of them to continue learning advanced techniques and staying current with best practices. Consider joining LinkedIn groups or communities focused on LinkedIn strategy and professional networking. These can be valuable sources of ongoing learning and support. Let's talk about building your support network for LinkedIn success. Consider finding an accountability partner, someone else who's also committed to building their LinkedIn presence. You can check in with each other regularly, share successes and challenges, and provide mutual encouragement. You might also want to identify a LinkedIn mentor, someone in your network who's particularly successful on the platform and who might be willing to provide occasional feedback and advice. And as we wrap up this course, I want to leave you with some final thoughts about the long-term value of what you're building here. LinkedIn isn't just about finding your next job or making your next sale. It's about building a professional reputation and network that will serve you throughout your entire career. The relationships you develop, the reputation that you build, and the opportunities you create through LinkedIn can compound over years and decades. Every connection you make, every piece of content you share, and every relationship you nurture is an investment in your professional future. You're not just building a LinkedIn profile. You're building a career asset that will become more valuable over time. The strategies you've learned in this course aren't just LinkedIn strategies. They're professional success strategies. The ability to build relationships, communicate value, and establish credibility are skills that will serve you in every aspect of your career, both online and offline. Remember that LinkedIn success is not about going viral or becoming LinkedIn famous. It's about consistently showing up as a professional who adds value, builds genuine relationships, and contributes meaningfully to your professional community. You now have everything you need to build a powerful LinkedIn presence that will accelerate your career growth and open doors to opportunities you can't even imagine yet. The only question is, will you take consistent action on what you've learned? I believe you will, because you've already invested the time to learn these strategies. It's now time to put them into practice. Your LinkedIn journey doesn't end here, it begins here. You have the knowledge, you have the strategy, and you have the action plan. So you can go out there now and build the professional presence and network that will transform your career. Thank you for joining me on this expedition. I can't wait to see what you accomplish with your new LinkedIn mastery. Your future self will thank you for the investment you're making today. Now go and make it happen.